Welcome back to the chapter Claiming an Education, which is a speech given by Adrian Rich. You may watch the previous video to get a continuity. So we shall continue with her speech. Adrian Rich was talking about a new concept of hers, which is responsibility to oneself. This statement is given different meanings by Adrian Rich. Responsibility to oneself means refusing to let others do your thinking. And when you refuse to let others do your thinking, as a result, you are learning to respect your own brain, your own opinion, and your own views. And to respect your thoughts, a whole lot of hard work is needed from you. This is what she says. Again, responsibility to oneself means not treating your body as an object, as a commodity to be sold or bought. Responsibility to oneself means you are able to say with Charlotte Bronte. Charlotte Bronte was a Victorian novelist, and one of her major works were Jane Eyre. So, responsibility to oneself means you should be able to say, along with Charlotte Bronte's Jane Eyre, that I am born with an inward treasure that is capable of keeping me alive even if all the extraneous delights are shut out. Which means you girl students or women students should be able to say that I have a spirit inside me which keeps me strong even in the oddest of circumstances, even in all the worst circumstances. There is a spirit inside me which keeps me strong. Okay, again, responsibility to oneself means you are not ready for easy or shallow solutions. You should decide that you are not ready for taking up gut courses, and instead you should choose more challenging courses. Responsibility to oneself means not bluffing at college or school, but doing a solid work, which means that women students should see their college life and school life as a serious occasion. Okay. Again, responsibility to oneself means not seeing marriage and pregnancy as forms of escape from existing problems. So, what happens is that if you are ready to take the above said decisions, then you are resisting the existing force of patriarchal structures or societal powers. And if you are to resist this discouraging societal forces, if you honestly want to resist this kind of discouraging societal forces, something is needed from your part, and it requires a courage of the rarest. So Adrian Rich talks about a different kind of courage. What does she mean by this different courage? She says, you should be able to proclaim to the world, or you should proudly announce to the world that I am currently unavailable and I need a space for myself. So I am currently unavailable. This others can mean currently when you say I am unavailable to others, these others can be parents, your roommates, your friends, your husband, and so on. So this is the courage that is required from you, that you should be able to say that you are currently unavailable. You should have the strength to say a no, N-O, no, to everyone. Again, she says that you should lead a life of meaningful work, where work has equal value of that of love and friendship. Adrienne Rich says that how much value you give to your love and friendship, that amount itself you should give to your work. And she says that there is a huge difference between life lived actively and a life of passive drift. So Adrienne Rich encourages the women students to lead an active life. Active life in the sense that you should be able to express your thoughts freely. You should be able to live on your own terms and so on. And she says that once you feel committed with the new way of life, you'll never be satisfied with the old one. And here ends the first part of her speech. I told you in the first class that her speech was divided into two. Speech is divided into two. One is addressed to the women students, and the next part is addressed to the teachers in a women's college. Now, the second part addressed to the teachers. Adrienne Rich says that many teachers, both male and female, are trained in the male-centered tradition. Okay, male and female teachers, they are trained in the male-centered tradition. So whatever information they spread on, whatever information they spread are all based on male-centered tradition. So teachers impart this kind of knowledge to students, and teachers and students are trained in such a way that they have an anti-woman attitude. Okay, so we are all, she again says that we are all brought up in a culture of discouragement, in the sense that it is anti-intellectual and anti-woman in its inclination. Many of the male professors in a women's college see their job as a second-rated career. So this shouldn't be happening. So this kind of attitude should not be happening to the teachers. Again, she continues that there is a tendency among these male teachers in a women's college to see their students as an erotic means sexual, as erotic objects. They should be demanding the best from them, when they are supposed to demand the best out of their students. They have a tendency to see their students as erotic objects. So teachers should be very careful when they administer their lessons, be it intellectual or ethical. Adrienne Rich says that clear thinking, excellent writing, and active discussion are the 3 success mantras for intellectual freedom. So, instead of instilling in students a passive recipiency, or instead of training the students to be passive, teachers should develop them into active thinkers, or you should train them, or the teachers should train them so that they are expressive and thoughtful human beings. And to substantiate this thought of her argument, she quotes Elizabeth Barrett Browning. Elizabeth Barrett Browning, with much impatience, said that studies cultivate a passive recipiency in students. Instead, they should be trained as active thinkers. Adrienne Rich points out two defects in women regarding logical faculty as well as higher mental activity. She says that though these are two defects in women, she says that it can be remedied by intellectual training and it is not an inborn disability. Moving towards conclusion, Adrienne Rich concludes her speech with the concept of university education as a kind of contract or kind of pledge between teacher and students. She says that education should be a matter of shared responsibility both among the students as well as the teachers. Both the parties should be serious. It means that the students should learn to reject the attitude, why be so serious? Why should I worry? Why should the students worry? You will probably get married. You should altogether reject this attitude. And she emphasizes that education is an ongoing struggle or a continued activity. She demands seriousness from the part of teachers too. She asks them to understand that women's thoughts and experiences are vital, or women's thoughts and experiences are invaluable to the growth of any civilization. So be very serious instead of molding them into passive recipients. Provide a platform for them to be active thinkers so that they freely express their thoughts and ideas. She concludes her speech by saying that there is no more exhilarating or intellectually fertile place in the academic world than a women's college. So this is all about Adrienne Rich's speech claiming an education. Hope you understood. If you have any doubts or if you are stuck at some point, you can contact me personally. Okay, so thank you, and you should read the text. Okay, thank you.